Ladies and gentlemen, listening to the splendid voice of Dr. Graciela Suarez and Mr. Victor Bettinotti, the tenor, we start this 10th solemn ceremony of the International Academy of Prenatal Medicine. Please welcome the Associated Fellows of the International Academy of Prenatal Medicine with a big applause, please. Then the regular fellows, and finally, the members of the Board of Directors of the International Academy and honorary members who honor us with their presence tonight. With the splendid voices of Dr. Graciela Suarez, who as a matter of fact is a pediatrician, and Mr. Victor Bettinotti, the tenor, we will start this 10th solemn ceremony of the International Academy of Prenatal Medicine. The Associated Fellow of the International Academy can take their seats as long as the regular fellows and the members of the board. This event will be divided into three parts. First, after the welcome speech of the acting president, the Secretary General will read the minutes of the last meeting, and the acting president of the International Academy, Professor Asim Kuriak, will proceed with the opening of the new academic course. In the second part will take place the in honor of Claudina Nil Tison. After this, she will be read the document with the appointment of the new regular fellow, Professor Milan Sanojevic from Croatia, the new associated fellows, Professor Javier Mancilla from Mexico, Professor Marina Degirova from Russia, and Professor Alexander Makaritsaya from Russia. Third and last, Professor Frank Chervenak, Vice President of the IIPM, on behalf of the International Academy of Perinatal Medicine will close the academic ceremony. Before starting this ceremony, we would like please to bring into the stage Dr. Miguel Larguía, who is a very well-known and famous perinatologist and neonatologist of this country and member of this Academy of Fine Medicine. Dr. Larguía.
Buenas tardes. Como escucharon, mi nombre es Miguel Larguía, soy médico pediatra, neonatólogo, pertenezco a esta Academia Nacional de Medicina y hoy tengo el honor de representar a nuestro presidente, Roberto Pradier, para darles la más calurosa bienvenida. Bienvenida que queremos hacer muy especial para el presidente de la International Academy of Perinatal Medicine, Erich Salling, a todos sus vicepresidentes, y queremos dar por inaugurada la nada menos que 10ª reunión de esta Academia Internacional. Queremos muy especialmente felicitar a la profesora doctora Liliana Boto, cuya fundación ha sido la responsable de organizar este notable evento. Por supuesto, felicitarla a ella y a su equipo. Incansable persona, como fue nuestro maestro, Miguel Margulis, de manera que es una doble satisfacción darle la bienvenida y poder recordar, insisto, a nuestro maestro. Nada mejor que el tema elegido, impacto perinatal de la hipertensión, el responsable fundamental como parte de la mortalidad materna y del retraso del crecimiento intrauterino. Quiero dar una especial bienvenida a los extranjeros, que en realidad ya los consideramos como embajadores científicos de los países que pertenecen. Realmente no pudieron haber sido mejor elegidos. Pero creo que nos apartaríamos del verdadero objetivo de esta reunión si no dijera públicamente que todos queremos un mundo sin muertes maternas, neonatales y fetales prevenibles. Tenemos que asumir una responsabilidad y ser realistas. Por año en nuestro planeta Tierra mueren 3 millones de personas en los primeros 28 días. 2.6 millones de personas mueren antes de nacer y cerca de 300.000 mujeres mueren en relación a su embarazo, parto y puerperio. Esta realidad innegable es coherente con las propuestas actuales de un mundo sin muertes prevenibles y existe una estrategia mundial de salud para las mujeres y niños que surge del secretario de las Naciones Unidas, y todos ustedes están muy conscientes de la propuesta de todas las mujeres, todos los recién nacidos, every newborn, que constituye desde UNICEF y desde la Organización Mundial de la Salud una promesa renovada. Estamos también todos al tanto de las publicaciones del Lancet, en que nos desafían comprometernos en lograr estos objetivos. Y como perinatólogo responsable de la salud de las mujeres embarazadas y de sus hijos antes y después de nacer, este es un interesantísimo desafío y creo que vamos a compartir en estos días con sus aportes avanzar en este sentido. Menos muertes prevenibles. Muchas gracias.
Now, to start this 10th solemn ceremony, I want to introduce myself. My name is Roberto Gianni. I'm a perinatologist as well, so I don't do this as a job, so indulge me with any mistakes I may commit tonight. And I want to welcome now the acting president of IAPM to open this formal ceremony.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you all. I have pleasant duty to welcome you all at the ceremonial meeting, and I do declare ceremonial meeting opened from now. I do invite Secretary of the Academy, Professor Červenek, to give us minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, the Acting Secretary General of the International Academy of Prenatal Medicine will read the minutes of the last meeting. Professor Červenek, please.
Thank you. I represent Jose Maria Carrera, who all our thoughts are with today. The minutes of the last meeting revealed that the minutes from the previous meeting were accepted. Professor Samuel Karshmer was named an honorary member. At the meeting, Professor Apostolos Athanasiadis and Nema Boujuni were accepted as associate members. In addition, the ceremony was closed by Azam Kuriak with the lecture, The Academy and Global Requirements for Research. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now please welcome again the Acting President of International Academy of Prenatal Medicine, Professor Azam Kuriak, who will open this academic course and will speak about the status of the Academy. Professor.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our President, Professor Erik Salling, is celebrating his 90th birthday, and in June next year. Understandably enough, he couldn't, travel for such a long distance, and that's the reason why he is not with us. I spoke with him this morning, and he's sending very, very best wishes. He's in good health, good spirit. He will be with us at the next meeting, which will be closer to Berlin, his hometown. I think it is almost impossible to succeed Erik Salling. It is possible to replace him. That I now do, and would like to remind you all that International Academy of Perinatal Medicine is dedicated to the study of all aspects of perinatal biology, physiology, screening, diagnosis, management, and ethics, with the goal of continuous quality improvement in the care of maternal, fetal, and neonatal patients. 42 years ago, in 1972, in address to the Third World Congress of Perinatal Medicine in Lausanne, the title of which was Neonatology Today, Perinatology Tomorrow, Clement Smith of Boston said, "What we speak of as disease of the newly born are actually, in most cases, the affliction of the fetus." In this essential, more than ever, that every effort is made to cement perinatal teamwork and collaboration, and to quote Erik Salling, only when the obstetrician and pediatrician work together as a team can a high standard of perinatal care be achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, little in medicine is new, and knowledge of medical history confers a perspective of the future as well of the past. The more I read from the work of our forefathers, the more I appreciate the truth of remark made by Isaac Newton. We progress by standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. Members of Academy, for an obstetrician and neonatologist, there is no more tragic event than maternal death. To prevent it, over the last 2 decades, many international governmental and non-governmental organizations have created programs aimed at promoting safe motherhood, both in terms of decreasing mortality and morbidity. Only one program, however, was promoted and implemented by obstetrician gynecologists, by FIGO. With this initiative, perinatologists all over the world provided clear proof that they are part of the solution rather than being part of the problem. From our perinatal part, World Association of Perinatal Medicine, our president is here, has introduced biannual World Congresses of Perinatal Medicine in developing countries. 8 congresses have already been held in Bosnia, in Turkey, in Lebanon, the 4th one in India, in Colombia, Indonesia, Egypt, and the 8th one recently in Cancun. The main topics are dedicated to specific perinatal problems in developing countries. However, I have to confess, the most significant work in this complex field has been done by Matres Mundi, led by Jose Maria Carrera, and is now integrated under the umbrella World Association of Perinatal Medicine. Dear colleagues, our academy is founded at the beginning of the 3rd millennium with all of the challenges which living generation are expected. Undoubtedly, perinatal medicine is now a global area of study. This bonds the link perinatologists together with transcend geographic, political, religious, and lingual differences, resulting in globalization that optimizes clinical care. I see, ladies and gentlemen, globalization as a morally neutral, but nonetheless inevitable force that possesses both opportunities and threats. Globalization is a source of both hope and of apprehension. It is an accelerating process in flow of information, technology, goods and services, as well as production means. Globalization has a complex influence on perinatal health. In the modern world, bacteria and viruses travel almost as fast as money. With globalization, single microbial sea washes all of humankind. Because millions of people cross international borders every single day, almost a tenth of humanity each year, it is not only the infectious diseases that spread with globalization. Some health impact of globalization can already be defined as positive, such as telemedicine that could help in the provision of antenatal services in remote areas. However, there is growing concern that globalization increases marginalization of the world's poorest. Those living in absolute poverty are 5 times more likely to die before reaching 5 years of age than those in higher income groups. Recent reports show that poor people have worse health, such as in several sub-Saharan African countries. As many as 173 out of every 1,000 children born will die before their 5th birthday, while in Sweden, by contrast, under 5 mortality rate is 3 per 1,000 live births. Indeed, global problems can be solved only by global efforts. For example, developing and implementing research agenda at national and international level should investigate positive and negative health effects of globalization. Ladies and gentlemen, at a time of fast globalization, it is clear that no human endeavor is more adapted to the globalized world than science, for its very nature is global. The brotherhood of scientists is truly international. This is an immense privilege, but equally so, an immense responsibility for the development of humanity. Like art, it is a universal possession of humanity, one of its vital potentials, and the scientist generating or transmitting new ideas has been and will remain the essence not only of scientific existence, but also of the civilization of an environment. We firmly believe that the globalized world will be run by those who know how to synthesize, that is, people able to put together the right information at the right time, think critically about it and make important choices wisely. We see you, members of Academy, among this privileged group of people, at least in perinatal medicine. But there is something else. Apart from our justified enthusiasm and magnificent progress in perinatal medicine, some of us still do believe and do have some concerns on present trends in perinatal medicine. While we all recognize the truth of aphorism that said that science is measurement, but although science is measurement, not all measurement is science. Many of the most important questions in medicine are hard to quantify and therefore tend to get ignored. And many of the answers we see come in the form of anecdotal evidence. I do not need to remind you that medicine is an art as well as science, and that every patient is a unique individual who does not necessarily conform to the conclusions of meta-analysis. My serious warning is that if our profession is not careful, the freedom to use clinical judgment will be steadily eroded by administrators and others concerned mainly with economic factors and advised by statisticians and others who worship at the altar of evidence-based medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, all members of Academy should recognize that the time is running out. Indeed, we should all be proud of the extraordinary progress made in perinatal medicine over the last 45 years. But there is much to do still, particularly in the developing world. We have to stress that the work of the international community has begun to show that even in an extremely difficult and logistically complex problem such as that of ensuring safe motherhood for all women of the planet can be tackled and eventually resolved. If there is a will, there is a way. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, many of you know that our host city, Buenos Aires, is more than 400 years old. This location and its history have defined the city's characters. Many of the delegates here also share a bond of friendship born of respect. Friendship has long been the thread which in this old city has woven together the past, the present, and the future. Undoubtedly, Buenos Aires, by that enduring stability which comes with age, provides just the right environment for our Academy annual meeting. The city and universities of Buenos Aires are proud indeed to be host to so many men and women of international reputation. Our hearty congratulations to our friend and distinguished colleague, Professor Ileana Voto, and numerous members, Lorana and many others, of her committees for what I'm sure will be memorable and historical meeting which we had in this lovely city. Thank you, Ileana. Thank you all. There is another short speech, but I will go immediately on this. This is Journal of Perinatal Medicine. It is official journal of the World Association, but also from this issue, it is official journal of our Academy, International Academy of Perinatal Medicine. To increase international scientific visibility, topic which was discussed this afternoon at the business meeting, we introduce Academy Corner in these prestigious journals with impact factor 1.2 and something. Academy Corner in the journal started 3 issues ago, and I really have to thank to Professor Joachim Dudenhausen, member of our Academy and editor-in-chief of journal, for starting this new idea, which was proposed at the last board meeting in Istanbul. And in the meantime, 4 editorials have been written. One was written by me, Global Education in Perinatal Medicine, and will be continuous with Professor Červenek, because he will discuss why education is better in America than in Europe. Second was invasive or non-invasive prenatal genetic diagnosis from our colleague from Sardinia, Professor Gianni Moni. Then we had primary prevention of preterm birth by Dudenhausen, and we do expect some more editorials, and I do invite at this stage from this place all members of Academy to contribute your own opinion about actual problems of perinatal medicine. We finally do have chance to improve our scientific visibility. This is prestigious journals. It goes in all index bases, everything what we publish there, and please do use it from now, and do subscribe. You will have our letter from Secretary and me suggesting that all members of Academy do subscribe to journal, because it's our journal. In that journal we have our corner. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to point out to you that we are staying tonight in this prestigious place called the National Academy of Medicine. This building was made in the 1822, many years ago, almost 200 years ago, and only hosts the most prestigious academic acts like the one we're having tonight. So we're very happy to have you here tonight. We're very honored that you're sitting here in this very honored place of our country. There is people who go through life without leaving any message, and there's others who make a big impact in those who know that persons, those who love them, those who cherished what they did. We will remember now the passing away of Dr. Claudine Amille Tisson. She was one of the first fellows of this prestigious academy, and she left us last year. So please welcome the Acting Secretary General of the IAPM, who will inform about the passing of one of our fellows who is not here with us tonight anymore.
As you all are aware, our friend and fellow of the Academy, Professor Claudine Amille Tisson, died of terminal cancer in December 2013. The news of her death came as a shock to all of us. She was not only a great professional, an excellent scientist, but also a good, friendly, unassuming person, full of personal virtues. Those of us who got to know her through the Academy treasure the moments we shared with her. It's with great sadness that this tragic loss has brought us here today to remember her and pay her final respect to her. And indeed, the ceremonial meeting is dedicated to the memory of Professor Amille Tisson. In a few minutes, our colleague, Professor Apostolos Papageorgiou, will say words in memoriam and lead us in the Laudatio. But before he does, please, I would ask everyone to stand in a moment of silence out of respect. Thank you. Let her have the song. Maybe do the, yeah. What do you think? Yeah, let him do the song.
Members of the International Academy of Perinatal Medicine, ladies and gentlemen, I am greatly honored to present the obituary laudatio of a very dear member of our Academy who passed away last year. Professor Claudine Amiel Tisson, la grande dame of French neonatology, passed away after a short illness December 7, 2013. She leaves an impressive scientific heritage. She has published over 150 scientific papers, 10 textbooks, and many chapters in textbooks, all related to neonatology and neurodevelopment of children. After her initial studies in France, she spent 1 year in Columbia University in New York. She returned to Paris at the maternity hospitals of Bodloc and Port-Royal, where she initiated a remarkable studies over half a century. She trained and collaborated with an impressive number of scientists from London to San Francisco and Montreal, just to mention only a few. Her rigorous observation and her capacity to combine anatomopathological findings to clinical observations allow her to produce what is considered nowadays the Bible of neurodevelopmental assessment of the newborn infant that is served all our follow-up clinics. Her precise evaluation of the potentially long-term risks allow our teams now in neonatology and pediatrics to undertake the appropriate early measures to improve the care and the development of our infants. Professor Tisson devoted the last years of her life to diffusing her method of evaluation in Europe, as well as in Asia and America. Her rigorous approach to science and the clarity of her mind gained her unique international respect. She leaves behind an immense vacuum, but also an extraordinary legacy. We are very proud in the International Academy of Perinatal Medicine to count her among the founding members of our group, and we have all felt very privileged to have been associated with her over the years. We'll miss you, Claudine. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now the IAPM will design one regular fellow. The Acting Secretary General will read the official statement.
It is my pleasure and privilege to announce that Professor Milan Stanovic has been approved as a regular fellow of our International Academy of Perinatal Medicine. Apostolos, we're going to put you to work. Can I ask you to come forward, please, with something more upbeat and introduce Milan to us.
Well, Milan Stanovic is a senior neonatologist and a professor at Zagreb University. He is a very experienced physician, combining his medical skills with a very keen interest in research, mostly in perinatal medicine and neonatology. He has published considerable peer-reviewed in peer-reviewed journals, and his work has been cited at least 800 times. His publications have focused on everyday clinical practice, neonatal nutrition, to infections, and in later years, in close association with obstetricians and perinatologists, he has developed an original line of thought regarding fetal and neonatal neurobehavior, a novel contribution to the understanding of normal and abnormal fetal development and performance, and whether or not it may relate it to postnatal life. Besides his clinical commitments, teaching duties, and research interest, Professor Stanakovic has also been involved in the everyday running of the World Association of Perinatal Medicine for many years, having served on the board in several different capacities, from General Secretary to a present position of President-elect. His clinical skills, his scientific observation, and his humanitarian approach to all matters concerning mothers and their offsprings renders him an outstanding pillar in perinatal medicine. It is therefore an honor and a privilege to propose Milan to the regular membership of our association. With my best wishes, and ask you ladies and gentlemen to join me in welcoming Milan to this special occasion. Thank you.
Now Professor Apostolos Papagregori from Canada and Professor Frank Chervenak from the USA, in their condition of academic godfathers, will proceed to ask the candidate to come in.
Please, Milan, come forward. Congratulations. We love you. Come forward. Okay, awesome. Not yet till he takes his oath. Okay. Now, before we go any further, we have our important ceremony, which is done in Latin. No, you can stay, but you can go down. Okay. Honore vestro, erga fundamenta, huius ad academi fiem. Servarve et vitam vestram, matribus et filius suis, dedere iuratis.
Meo honore amorem medicinae perinatalis studio, cognitioni et progressu fundamenta, foreque mea acta academica regent et mea instrumenta laboris fore meditationem, dialogum et respectum veritatis. Ex hodie mei fratres, quibus cognitionem amictam et ideas comitabor, membra cui suis academica erunt.
Deus, vita e humanitas, vobis premia dent si ita facitis, et nisi vos pugnat.
Dear Professor Stanojevic, dear Milan, you are entering International Academy of Perinatal Medicine in particularly important time, where more and more evidence indicates that perinatal life is a major determinant of adult health and disease. For instance, increasing realization that the two modern epidemics, obesity and diabetes, as well as premature death from cardiovascular diseases, may have their origin in environmental factors experienced during intrauterine life, and that has given our discipline much greater importance than anyone ever dreamed possible. I therefore believe that patients, families, colleagues, and governments are ready to recognize that a major revolution is now taking place. The prevention of diseases as well as the promotion of health should begin in utero. We hope that the collective talent and energy of fellows you are just joining will be used to ensure that our two patients, mother and fetus, are given all the benefits that they deserve, which we now have every chance to achieve more than ever before. Dear Milan, advantage of academy is continuous availability of its leading and acting experts. This is a compensatory potential compared with societies where relatively frequent change of leading experts is common after only short intervals, in particular within their boards. Therefore, it is a good solution to have both, namely different societies with their specific character, and above them a kind of superordinated intellectual common here. Every one of you know that Milan Stanojević is President-elect of World Association of Perinatal Medicine, continuing high influence of members of Academy from the past presidents Frank Červenek, me, to the present President Aris, and to the future presidents. That is the way how Academy, in a very democratic, intellectual way, do influence many global problems in perinatal health, and we will continue in the same collection. Milan Stanojević was and still is my first co-worker. I do congratulate him and have to tell you that Milan Stanojević is a man of integrity. He is a moral vertical, and his contribution, both scientific and in practicing perinatal problems, will be very much welcomed in Academy, in particular in the group of neonatologists. So warm welcome on behalf of all of you. Diploma. Do you want it? Please, Luca.
Yes, okay. I have to read. Dear Professor Asim Kurjak, first Vice President of the International Academy of Perinatal Medicine, dear Vice Presidents of IAPM, dear Secretary General, Mr. Frank Červenak, dear regular associated and honorary members of Academy, dear Professor Apostolos Papageorgiou, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to become a regular fellow of IAPM, an association whose main aim is to promote the study of scientific principles and practical applications in the area of perinatal medicine, which means that the health of the mother and unborn and newly born children are the main scope of interest of the Academy. It was an ingenious idea of our president, Professor Erich Salling, who together with Professor Roberto Caldeiro Barcia and some other great physicians developed the field of perinatal medicine as a single discipline taking care of two patients. Our Secretary General, Jose Maria Carrera, has introduced the social dimension of perinatal care into our Academy by promoting and improving the health care of mothers and children in the developing countries through the activities of Mater Mundi. I regret that both of our leaders could not be here with us today, because their presence would make this very special day for me even more memorable. Dear members of Academy, ladies and gentlemen, saying that a child is not a small adult was connected with the development of pediatrics. Development of neonatology as a subspecialty in pediatrics and part of perinatal medicine followed when it was recognized that a neonate is not a miniature child. In the past 30 years, we have experienced a colossal improvement of neonatal health in the developed countries, while neonatal health in the developing countries is still one of the examples of inequality and injustice. In the last 10 years, we experienced annual reduction rate of maternal mortality for 4.2%, under 5 mortality rate for 2.9%, while at the same time, neonatal mortality decreased only by 2.1% on a yearly basis. This is one of the realities which we cannot neglect and we should make more efforts together with other influential international organizations to change this fact. My entire life, I've been trying to make a difference in infant and maternal health. I will continue to work hard together with all of you, my fellow members of Academy, to make this world a better place for all mothers and children. Albert Einstein once said, "Only a life lived for others is worth living." This undoubtedly applies to a great man and the pioneer of pediatrics, Abraham Jacobi. I will wear the medal with his name proudly, with respect and responsibility, and being aware that smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to Rui Manuel Carapato, Apostolos Papageorgiou, Asim Kuriak, Frank Chervenak, Jose Maria Carrera, Eric Saling, and to all of you for making it possible for me to join this very important association, making my dream come true. I would like also to express my gratitude to Liliana Voto. She organized that meeting exceptionally good, and I'm very proud that this moment for me happened in this historical city of Buenos Aires. I would also like to express my special thanks and my respect to Claudine Amiel Tisson. She was my teacher, and I respect her very much, and I really feel proud that I came to the Academy after her, and that I will wear or share with her the medal I'm wearing. Last but not least, I would like to thank to my wife and to my sons who supported me strongly and generously, sharing me with my great love and my passion, neonatology and perinatal medicine. Thank you.
The International Academy will now designate the new associated fellows. The Secretary General will read the official nominations.
It is my pleasure and privilege to announce 2 new associate members of our International Academy of Perinatal Medicine, Professor Javier Mancia of Mexico and Professor Alexander Makatsaria from Russia. The procedure will be, as described in our Constitution, first we'll hear laudacios. First, the laudatio of Professor Mancia by Professor Serge Uzan, then the laudatio of Professor Makatsaria from Professor Anzaklis, then we will administer the oath and the presentation of certificates. Professor Uzan.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Javier Mancia Ramirez, my Spanish is not so bad, is a pediatrician, neonatologist, and infectious disease specialist with master and doctorate in medical sciences from the National University of Mexico. He had a PhD from Tufts University in Boston. He is senior professor of the School of Medicine of the National Polytechnic Institute and Faculty of Medicine. He is national researcher level 2 to 3 of 3, with more than 1 scientific papers and over 1,800 citations. He has been president of the Mexican National Federation and the Council of Certification in Neonatology. He is a full member of the Royal Academy of Doctors of Spain and Deputy Secretary of the World Association of Perinatal Medicine. He has received numerous awards for his scientific contribution and career as the best student of Mexico in 1980 and the National Research Award in 2013 by the President of Mexico. He has been General Director of the National Institute of Perinatology in Mexico and Treasurer and currently General Secretary of the National Academy of Medicine in Mexico. I would like to add that Javier has an excellent task. One is here, it's his wife, Norma, and with her they have 3 children, Andrea, Adriana, Andres, and Javier Jr. The other proof of task is that they celebrate their 25th anniversary of wedding in Paris, in France. That's an absolute proof. And I am sure and I am proud to be your godfather in this society. I hope you will remain perfectly in the target of our society. We have only one wealth, which is science and honorability. I hope we will continue with that. Thank you.
Professor Anzaklis, would you please come forward?
Thank you very much, Mr. General Secretary. Alexander Machakaria, a very good friend. I don't speak Russian. Alexander was born in Tbilisi, in Georgia. He's married, has 2 children, Vladimir and Natalia. For the past 25 years, Alexander has served as a professor and chairman of the Obstetrics and Gynecology Department of Moscow State Medical University, which is the oldest medical university in Russia. He is a member of the Russian Academy of Science as well as a vice president of the Russian Society of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and an active member of prestigious societies in Russia and internationally, and has been awarded in 1988 by Snegirev Prize winner for the monography Thrombotic and Hemorrhagic Complication in Obstetrics. In 2007, by the Zhezhenov University Mental in honor of 250th anniversary of Moscow Medical Academy. In 2008, by the Peshaninov Prize winner for the monography Antiphospholipid Syndromes, an immune form of thrombophilia in obstetrics and gynecology. And in 2012, the prize of government of the Russian Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a leading authority, Alexander, in the field of thrombosis and hemostasis in perinatology. Also, his field of scientific interest is the high-risk pregnancy, coagulation disorders in obstetrics and gynecology, genetic and acquired thrombophilia, pregnancy outcome, hemorrhagic disorders in obstetrics and gynecology, preeclampsia, thrombosis in oncogynecology, iatrogenic complication of HRT, heart diseases in pregnant women, multiple pregnancies, and anticoagulant therapy. He's a leading authority, and he is not only an internationally respected researcher, but also is an active counselor in the medical occupant throughout Russia, Europe, and Asia. He makes himself available to physicians and all neonatologists and nationalists, and his commitment to mentoring his young doctors is legendary. He has approximately 250 articles for publications and 44 books, among them 29 monographies. The most important during the last 10 years, thrombohemorrhagic complication in obstetrics and gynecology in 2011, systemic syndrome in obstetrics and gynecology, thrombosis and pulmonary thromboembolism in obstetrics and gynecology in 2007, oncologic disease, thrombophilia and thrombosis in 2006, and hyperhomocystinemia in 2000. I would like to welcome Alexander to our big family in Academy of Perinatal Medicine, this international academy, and wish him a very good luck. Welcome, Alexander.
Could I please ask Javier and Alexander to come forward? Now the administration of the oath. Honore vestro, erga fundamenta, jus academe fidem, servare ad vitam vestram, matribus et filius suis, dedere juratus. You two must read this, please. Read it together. Together, just this part. No, into the microphone, please. Can you read this?
Meo honorem amorem medicina perinatalis studio, cognition et progressu fundamenta, fore quae mea acta academica, regent et mea instrumenta laboris, fore meditationem, dialogum et respectum veritatis.
Deus vita e humanitas vobis premia dent, si ita facitis, et nisi vos pugnatit.
As following, the new associated fellows will approach the presidential table to get a diploma or document that does credit to their condition of associated member of the International Academy of Perinatal Medicine.
As you know, our academy has two groups of members, regular fellows 30, numerus clausus, no more than 30 at any stage, and we have the same number of associate fellows. Regular fellows will be selected from associate fellows. So these two friends, Alexander and Mancia, are potential regular fellows. I wish them to stay as short as possible among associate fellows. Thank you.
Now Professor Mancilla will address the audience.
With your permission, Dr. Asim Kurjak, Vice President, Dr. Frank Chervenak, General Secretary. I want to start this short message saying thank you, Norma, my wife. We have been together now for almost 20 years, and our memory will remain because we have 3 excellent kids. Thank you very much for your life with me. Thank you. Dear academic members and dearest friends all, it is my privilege to accept the great honor of becoming an associate member of this prestigious International Academy of Perinatal Medicine. During the last 6 years, I have met most of you, and these have been actually some of the precious big moments in my life. I realize now that the first and main reason why I am here today is because the friendship and the fraternity that are characteristics of a truly relationship between people with different cultures and languages, but common and strong principles and solid ethical values. All of you that I am getting today the license to name my fellows and partners are universal individuals in the best sense of the human being. I am really proud and highly honored by your kindness and loyalty. It is my compromise to correspond to the trust that you give me today, and I hope to be worthy of it. Finally, let me mention Isaac Newton, and allow me to get his words as mine. If I could see further, is by standing up on the shoulders of giants. With my major respect and affection, thank you, giants of the world perinatal medicine.
Now, Professor, we need to address the Assembly.
Dear President, dear members of Academy, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank all of you. And second of all, I want to assure you that everywhere I will be your faithful ambassador, to dissipate your ideology, and especially in Russia. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now to close this splendid ceremony, Professor Frank Chervenak, Vice President of the Academy, on behalf of the International Council of Academy, will speak and will close this academic ceremony.
I'll keep my remarks short before we close with our traditional song. First, Liliana, on behalf of all of us here, the members, the associate members, all the guests, we know that you spend hundreds of hours dealing with hundreds of details to bring us to this beautiful environment. You even had so much clout, you had beautiful weather for us. And we've all enjoyed your beautiful city, your hospitality. And one thing we're especially grateful. Our academy is not just for show, it's something of substance. It's for advocacy of women, children, and fetal patients throughout the world. And you chose for your Buenos Aires declaration to take a very hard topic, the topic of maternal mortality. And a special thank you. We have the declaration here, and I'd ask all the members and regular members to sign it, please. So this is a sign of solidarity of what we believe in and what we stand for. Liliana, sincere thank you. Two people who are not here in the body, but I know are with us in spirit. If we believe in the afterlife, anyone is looking down from heaven, it's Professor Emile Tasson. This wonderful person touched all of us, who we had the pleasure to meet, and I'm sure she's very happy, and she's with us. And I think she would be very, very touched by the ceremony in her honor. The other person who, thank God, is not dead, he almost died, is Jose Maria Carrera. I cannot take his place. This is a spiritual person, a beloved person that we all love. I can announce that he's getting better. He's getting better, and he's always with us. He's with us in spirit tonight. I make one request of all of you. Don't send any pictures of me wearing anything other than a frock. His heart is weak. We don't want him to die, so please, please, don't send him any pictures of me. A special, special welcome to our three wonderful new members, Milan, Javier, Alexander. Each one is a leader in their own field. Each one is a scientist. Each one is a wonderful human being. They represent what our academy is. Milan, you have bigger and better things soon with our World Association of Perinatal Medicine. Javier, I've worked with you in different projects. I'm proud that we're North Americans together and you're with us. And Alexander, whatever happens politically, there will only be warmth in our hearts. There will never be any Cold War again. So we're so happy that you're with us now and in the future. There's more I can say, but I want to give a sincere thank you to everyone for being here. Let me declare this meeting officially closed. Just one more very pleasant task that our Master of Ceremonies will announce.
Ladies and gentlemen, now to close this ceremony, we will listen to Gaudeamus Igitur, which is a university anthem. For those of you who don't know, this was written by an unknown author in the 13th century, and over the centuries it's always been sung in this kind of solemn ceremonies. It is in Latin, and it says, "Let's rejoice while we are still young. Let's rejoice on our capacity to learn and to learn new things." That's the whole spirit of this society, and that's what we want to share with you now in the voice of our prestigious singers. We will welcome you afterwards once we exit to the right with a cocktail party. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish you all a pleasant stay in Buenos Aires, and we expect you outside for the cocktail party. Thank you.